the little bit that I know about you is that you used to be in the Mormon Church, Church of LDS, and then you left the church, but you still believe that there's a God. You're still a Christian. Is that fair to say, or?
Definitely fair to say.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
When I left Mormonism, I was still in it. I became a nihilist of sort. I was a Marxist, and I was definitely into some different views of, dialectical materialism and what is real and what is true. And so I discounted all faith while a Latter-day Saint.
How would you self-identify in terms of your Christianity now?
A follower, disciple of Jesus, something like that.
Okay.
I embraced evangelicalism for about 10 years, but it didn't serve me either. It didn't work. It didn't make sense. So that changed too. But yeah, just a disciple of Jesus from the heart.
Okay.
I was searching for years as a tortured Latter-day Saint. I didn't fit the prototypical model in externally. I did. I looked like I do now. I looked like a missionary, and I obeyed the rules, and I did everything I could. But inwardly, just the way I explain it is I was a sinner. I love sin, and I loved women, and I love drugs, and I love getting high, and I love fighting, and I loved all these things of my flesh. And Mormonism didn't have the capacity to change me as a human being. Even though I went on the mission, married, did everything. Mormonism said, you do this, and hey, man, you're going to be okay. But inwardly, I knew I was a fake. I was a phony ass human being as a Mormon. Now, I'm not saying all Mormons are, but I was. And that construct did not work with me as a human being. Okay. So I began to search and search and search. And that's when I had this metaphysical epiphany at a roadside in Southern California that changed my heart, so to speak. And it helped me to personally believe that there is a God who's interested in his creations. Now, that's my experience. I don't say you have to have it or that my experience was even legitimate. I just say that's what I've had. And then I've pursued that stridently, ardently over the course of the past 20 years and have discovered it to grow into something that's beneficial to me in my life.
I want to maybe go a little broad here real quick. And this might sound like a very weird question. Sometimes the questions I ask are kind of weird, but I'm wondering if you care if your beliefs are true or not. Is it important for you to have beliefs that are true?
It's important for me to try to discover the truth as far as possible, but I don't think I have a handle on the truth of what is eternal. I don't think I have a grip on that, no. Okay. But it's important to get as close as I can, yeah.
Yeah. I want to make it about me just for a second, just to say, like, I agree with that. I think that I don't think we could ever really know the truth for sure, but it is a pursuit of mine. I want to get as close to the truth as possible. But sometimes I meet people who say, it doesn't even really matter to me if this belief that I'm holding at the moment is factually true or not. And
not me.
Okay, good.
Not me at all.
Good. Okay. Yeah. I want to understand, like, how you concluded that this stuff is real and true.
Epistemologically, the beliefs I have, I don't think are true. I place my faith on them because I don't think I have a handle on the truth. So I could be wrong.
Okay.
So epistemologically, I don't say my beliefs in this and this and this are true. However, what I do believe is true with a capital T is like the guy in scripture, I have to quote it, where Jesus heals a blind man and the Pharisees say, what happened? He said, I don't know. They said, well, do you think he's the Son of God? He said, look it, I was blind and now I see. That's what he said. And that's what I say. I was a fucker and now I'm not as much of a fucker. So if that's the reality for me, that's truth with a capital T. I don't impose it on you. Yeah, I love you. Yeah. We party. We do what we want. But for me, that crutch works as a truth with a capital T. And you would see and experience that in our relationship together.
Because you have these views,
yeah,
and they're contributing positively to your life, that's good enough for you to think that it's true.
It's good enough for me to personally accept it as viably true in my life.
Because you benefit from it.
Right. Yeah. And I have tested it. It's not like it's some new, I'm not new to it.
Right.
I've tested the hell out of it.
And the test would be like back when you didn't think that it was true. I guess you didn't have a nice life back then. You were
No,
struggling.
and no one did around me either, even worse.
Yeah.
I didn't, and neither did they.
Sure. Okay, so there's something unique about this belief that you think that you need to have it, and because it serves its purpose, that's good enough for you to think that it's true for
Right.
you.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I can say, for me, this is true. Can you prove it? Oh, hell no. I walk by faith.
Yeah.
Well, how do you prove it? Well, all I can say is I was once blind, now I see. I was once a jerk, now I'm nicer. So that's how I prove it. I don't have anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you be missing? What specifically do you think that you'd be missing if you did start to doubt and wonder about the belief?
What I would be missing is what I personally consider a metaphysical support that can't be proven that's within me. That is, I believe that I have a presence of God, not special, anybody does, who acquiesces to faith. And I've acquiesced to faith. That's an acquiescence. It's not a reality. It's not true or known. It's what I believe. I acquiesce to that faith, and that sustains me in my walk metaphysically. Now, maybe John and Kara and you don't need it. Maybe you can walk without that. I need it. I need that faith in place because I've tasted it. I know what my life is like without it. And if I don't have it, there's a loss. There's something within me that is sorrowful. Perhaps that, and maybe you might say, well, you're coming to reality with the hardness of life, Shawn. That's fine. I can accept that could be true because I walk by faith. However, I need it. And so I always will say, that's me. I take it. Right?
Yeah.
I want the crutch.
You need faith. Yeah. You need faith, and you're calling it a crutch. I'm wondering how difficult life could be for you if you started to wonder if your belief was true or not.
Well, I have wondered, and sometimes I wonder still. You have to think that you've got some things wrong. What happens, Anthony, for me, is the crutch of my beliefs sustains me in my walk in this life. Without the crutch of my beliefs, I become that guy that I was as a Mormon.
Okay, see, that's an important revelation here to me. Have you seriously entertained that is exactly what would happen, that you would find yourself struggling again if you did begin to doubt? Does that question make sense?
Oh, yeah, I think the question makes sense, and the reality is true, because as I have wandered over the course of the past however many 20 years, and I've sojourned into realms of doubt where I've sort of pushed some things aside. What the Christians call the former man quickly rises up in me, and I disconnect in my mind from the things I was holding true, and I begin to act on myself without those truths. And it's an ugly scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I think I'm hearing is that your behavior could change significantly if you didn't think that these claims were true.
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, maybe that's psychosis. Maybe, I have the mental issue that I need these things in order to keep me alive. And maybe it's a reality or not. Maybe I could be a good guy without it.
This is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. But come live with me. Ask my wife. Ask my daughters. Ask my family.
Right.
Like, Shawn, when I interviewed with you a couple years ago,
yeah,
I think you said to me something like I would kill a dude on the side of the road if I didn't have a belief in Jesus. I'm not trying to misquote you.
Yeah, no, you're about right.
Yeah.
If there's not a God, and this is where you and I differ, I get nothing in my person at all to be considered enlightened, to be considered a good neighbor. There is nothing in Shawn McCraney's human soul that came into this earth that cares about good things. I don't care about good things in my flesh. You got to understand that. I'm demented, John, in my flesh. I'm one of Jean-Paul Sartre said, I am the biggest sinner I've ever met. And I would say, no, I am. I don't say that out of false humility. It is my lot. If you were on the road with me and I didn't have that experience where God took me blind and gave me sight, and you did something to me, I would attack you. I would attack your car. I would attack your wife. I would slit your tires, and I would consider myself in those actions good. For the faith of the broken, the lost, the reprobates, those people who don't have the intelligence, who don't have the serotonin levels, I'm a criminal. And it's not a joke. You can interview my wife sometime and talk to her, or my children. I am a bad human being. And so if there is no God, and we can prove there is no God, you enlightened guys, watch the hell out. Because guys like me are not going to make it easy on you. We are going to prey upon you. We are going to take advantage of you. We're going to feed ourselves. We don't care about your enlightened views, about being kind for kindness' sake. We care about ourselves. That is where Jesus comes in and does something that's so radical that it took a guy like me and changed me to do the good you talk about, that you naturally can do. I cannot do it. It's not rhetoric, John. I am a fucker. No, it's true. And so this is why I am so deeply committed to the thing that happened to me so many years ago and have consistently been committed to it. I know what I am, John. If you cut me off and I didn't know you and didn't have the change in me, I would pull over to the side of the road and we would go at it. You know, I would take your wife if I could. I've done it to other men. I would do whatever my flesh wanted to frickin' do.
Yeah.
When he came in, brother, you became my friend and my neighbor. And that, I just can't turn from that. Let me just add, Anthony, that what I've come to believe is that I have experienced many relationships with what Christians would call godless heathens. I believe that your life can be superior in terms of function and success and peace and harmony than mine. So I don't think I have anything that I bring to the table that says my life is better than yours. Not at all. And that's not part of my belief system. So I don't think I would find something to be surprising if I went and had dinner with you at Christmas. I think that you are a nice man. You're sitting here, Ty. I think John is. I would have whatever you were about. You could be a gay couple. You could be an alcoholic. I believe in freedom and liberty. So there would be nothing that I would say, oh, well, they would be better. The only way I would think that what I possess might benefit is selfless love, which is sacrificial love, which doesn't come naturally to many people. Selfless, sacrificial love is what I've learned through my belief system, which I wasn't able to garner from any substance, any philosophy, or any religion. That's why I stick to it. Now, I'm not saying you can't be selfless and full of sacrificial love. Anyone who's a parent knows what that's about, and I'm with that. But that's the thing I would be looking for. It's can you love selflessly? And I am not able to love selflessly. I put myself ahead of everybody without that influence. That's my message.
Yeah. That's fascinating to me. Okay. As you're describing selfless love, the synonym that came to my mind, and I don't know if this is the case, was empathy.
Sure.
Is that the case?
Sure.
Did that event that happened that moved you into the stage 3, or currently where you're at, did that event help you develop empathy for other people?
My God, it's unfolded empathy in my life. I never could relate to anybody's troubles or pain. I was a brat from Huntington Beach, California, raised in hyper-capitalism and a Mormon family. That's why I look like this now, because I want to relate to people who I always looked down on. I did not have any empathy before, and I've become empathetic toward the plight of everybody, any problem. That's what he's done for me in my life. That's what I think he's done for me in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So every sexuality, every sin, I don't care what it is, pedophilia, love them. He brought it where before let's kill them, right? Let's kill the fags, right?
Yeah.
No more. Gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because I'm thinking there are people who don't have the ability to empathize with others. Is it narcissism or
antisocial personality disorder?
That's me, brother.
There are people that can't put themselves in another person's shoes.
Yeah.
But it's my understanding that that's an attribute of your brain, and it's not something that you can suddenly start doing, I don't think. Can people who don't have empathy learn to have empathy?
And here's where I would step in and say, I'm sorry, but through Jesus, yeah. The guy who did the narcissistic study in Canada, I wrote him. I said, you've given this test on how to be a narcissist. I scored 9 out of 10 in my former self. I said, Jesus changed my life from being a full-blown narcissist to being someone who now actually has empathy. And I can tell you that's true. He never wrote me back.
Oh, this is so fascinating. Wow.